Moms and dads, welcome to Lights, Camera, Baby, powered by Mama Magic. Igama lami Mtoba, and we're absolutely thrilled to be bringing you all you need to know when it comes to parenting and your little one. We have an entire season of exciting parenting information for you to bring watch. So please, trust us when I say you are going to watch this over and over again. You're going to ask your mom, your aunt, your sister, your cousins, because it does indeed take a village to raise a kid. So please do join us today and share the love of parenting with us. In our studio, we have experts today, include a gynecologist and obstetrician, Dr. Casandra Pillay from Life Forward. So welcome to Dr. Casandra.
Thanks very much, Linda.
We're also joined by Nicole Canin, who happens to be the chairperson of the Gauteng Association of Infant Mental Health. Hello, Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited for us to get into all the information. So let's get right into it. Pregnancy. I'm now pregnant. Yay! Woo! Scary. World of emotions are coming over me. And me saying that I'm a healthy person is actually kind of relative. So what is a healthy pregnancy?
So first of all, you're looking at a healthy pregnancy going to full term, which is 9 months. We work on a gestation or pregnancy age of 40 weeks. And the rule is literally one healthy mom, one healthy baby. And that's the aim of the pregnancy. In terms of looking at your vitamins, folic acid would be one of the most important from all the vitamins that you would be taking, as that would cover significant abnormalities in the pregnancy. Mom taking her vitamins to be able to provide for her developing baby as well.
That is so amazing because it really does start really early, hey, having to take care of a little one and yourself. And we've mentioned that speaking about vitamins, but now what also happens to my mental health? Because I'd imagine I'm flooded with a lot of hormones and a lot of emotions as well. What about my mental health is it that maybe I need to start looking out for earlier on in my pregnancy?
Well, I think a healthy pregnancy is quite a hard term because I think it conjures up ideas that I have to be perfect, I have to be excited, I can only feel, oh, this is a blessing. And we all know that actually, like, many moms don't feel that. It's pretty normal to feel ambivalent, to feel panic, to worry. Oh my God, some moms even think, have I made a mistake? And I like to think about pregnancies not just about all the work your baby's doing growing in your tummy, but it's a 9-month process where you get to prepare yourself and work through all the different feelings and worries and concerns. And in fact, that's the work, that's the psychological work, I guess, of pregnancy is how can I move from A to B and prepare myself for however I feel about whether it's a boy, it's a girl, maybe I wanted a girl, maybe I'm, all the kind of different emotions to work through it. And I guess what I would say is it's when moms are struggling to do that or when they're being overwhelmed, that then we need to look at, hang on, maybe a bit of support and extra help is needed.
It definitely is a holistic approach in terms of needing support structure. I think I love the fact you touched on the importance of being mentally stable, being mentally ready, and actually getting yourself mentally ready, maybe throughout these 9 months. Let's call it 10 months. Let's be honest about that because it's not 9 months. Yeah. Throughout this whole journey of pregnancy. And how can dad maybe offer support in terms of maybe reminding you to take your vitamins, or what can dad actually do for mom during this time?
I think the most important is to have a present dad. With the first visit, having dad enjoy being there for the first scan. Moms do a lot of reading in the beginning, and having dad also look at the literature as to what your body will go through as changes in pregnancy, the back pain, the difficulty in sleeping, the exhaustion, fatigue. Having dads available and empathetic, I think that's the most important, to have an understanding dad. He may not be able to take all the pain away and help you eat better, but he could be there for you. And that's important for the moms to know they're not on this journey alone.
You mentioned in terms of vitamins, I feel like there's always a lot of conversation about folic acid. What exactly is folic acid and what does it actually do for mom, and why does mom need it so much earlier on, especially in pregnancy?
Yeah. So if you're looking at folic acid, this is the one vitamin you should be on actually from 3 months prior to pregnancy.
Really?
It's very important to be taking that because in the early phases of pregnancy, there's immense division of the cells and the organs that are developing up to 8 weeks. That's where you get differentiation of all the baby's organs. And for folic acid specifically, neural tube defects or spinal defects is the most important to have an adequate dose to prevent that. If you're looking at brain development, it's folic acid again. So abnormality of brain development and encephaly would be a fetus that is developing that is not compatible with life. Spina bifida, which are the spinal defects that could occur anywhere along the spinal cord. And especially if it's lower down, you're looking at paraplegia, paralysis, incontinence where it comes to bladder and bowel function. So that's very important to be taking folic acid.
Geez, that's really, I didn't know how to take it 3 months prior. Honestly, for me, this is the first. Now, next time I know if I'm going to be planning on having another child, I'll start with my vitamins at first. And I love the fact that you're touching on the support structure. I would ask doctor, in terms of even my husband's support structure, how do I deal with my emotions? And maybe having to try and express them better, maybe with my partner, and what kind of emotional support can he actually give to me as my birthing partner, be it my sister, my cousin, or who anybody else actually be helping me?
I think you've actually just hit the nail on the head, and that is to be able to communicate what you're feeling, even if it feels like it's crazy, it doesn't make sense. In some ways, all feelings are okay during that time. It's a pretty crazy time for moms, especially when it's your first, especially when it's the first time you're going through what will really be the biggest transition in your life. And I think to be able to talk to your husband, to be able to create a space, exactly as you were saying, I had a hard day today. And I think that, what we also know is that older women play a very, very important role for moms, So having the right people in your life who are supportive of you, not critical, open to hearing how you feel. I think I would say to moms, surround yourself with people that will create and help you to make that space so that you can work through and, and feel better about how you're feeling.
Because you really do go through emotional roller coaster. So what are some of the physiological changes one can expect? I'll say from my own personal experience, I didn't even know it existed, where I was kind of going through mild depression when I was actually heavily pregnant, and I thought it only happened post-pregnancy. I never knew it actually happened during my pregnancy. So what other changes can one person experience or maybe possibly experience during the pregnancy?
I think the important thing is to differentiate again between what's kind of pretty standard in a pregnancy and what's suggestive that, in fact, there may be at the beginnings of a mental health issue and you actually need professional support. And I think that there's certain signs that moms should be honest with themselves about. So mood changes are pretty standard. But I think there's a difference between I'm up one day, I'm down another, and actually I'm starting to feel myself falling into a deeper and deeper hole, or anxiety. I feel debilitated by my anxiety. I find moms can often find that ruminating thoughts, they have the same fears that ruminate in their minds. Or they feel kind of often a sign that something's not quite right is you find yourself being very busy. You can't still your mind. You're finally working longer hours than you ever have before. You're filling your life with more things. And I think that you're having panic attacks.
Yes.
And I think some other signs are looking at what's happening to your sleep. Are you sleeping much more than you ever did, or perhaps much less? An appetite, am I eating much more? Am I eating much less? Those are often some of the signs that, hang on, maybe I need a bit of additional support, because you're absolutely right. Mental health issues often present.
Yes.
If you kind of look back, they're presented in pregnancy, and it can make such a difference if they're caught then, and mom can be supported all the way through, so that when baby comes,
mom
she's
is
got
also
a support
ready
structure.
for it. Yes, support structure is really, really important. Please remember that many of the symptoms are normal milestones in pregnancy. However, as a psychologist Nicole has mentioned, if it is completely debilitating, that's when we need to speak to a professional to help moms and dads. There's help if you need it. It's always, always there. Now, we spoke a lot about our psychological changes that we happen to. Besides the very obvious one of the baby bump growing, what other physical changes can we expect?
So you would look at very early on in pregnancy, the pain that people start to develop, little tinges of pain in the uterus as the implantation happens and the uterus starts to grow. It is concerning for patients, but if there's no associated bleeding, that would be fine. Breast tenderness, increase in size and heaviness of breasts also present. A lot of the nausea, vomiting that patients experience, those are all normal phenomena that occurs with the changes of the body. So I think looking at development, your body is going to change as you go further into pregnancy. If you're looking at lower back pain, because of the ligaments that are weakening, because of the hormones that are there.
Relaxin.
Yes, relaxin is the hormone that allows for space to be made for this developing bump that you're going to have. But with that comes instability of the lower back, of the pelvic area, of all the joint pain that you experience as well. I think sleeplessness, tiredness, fatigue, all related to the physiological changes.
Yeah, we have physical, and you also have mental changes that one needs to go through during pregnancy. But what a great start to the show. Some fantastic insight from my experts on the show today. We'll get stuck right into the practical aspects of healthy nutrition and safe exercises right after this. Huggies has a hug for every moment, and we show our love through giving to our incredible community of moms. Follow this week's unique link for Lights Camera Baby, complete the form and submit your details, stand a chance of winning your share of 50,000 Rand in Huggies vouchers. Every week, 100 viewers will receive a 50 Rand discount voucher of their next purchase of Huggies diapers. The great news is you can enter each and every week. Share their hugs and love with your community and get them to enter too.
Do you know about stem cell banking? Have you considered this for your baby and their future? Banking your baby's stem cells is a form of medical insurance that you hope you never have to use. Stem cells are the original building blocks of life and can help treat over 80 blood-related diseases. Contact NetCells today to learn how you can safeguard your baby's future.
It's your turn in the spotlight, moms, dads, you'll be too, of course. But today, we're talking particularly about holistic healthy pregnancy and Lights Camera Baby. Now, we've delved into some healthy food and exercise tips with our guest, Dr. Casandra Pillay, psychologist Dr. Nicole Canin, and we're excited to have another familiar face, our expecting fitness expert, pre- and postnatal coach, Potso Mpandawana. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, first things first, I'm a fitness junkie. I'm joking, I'm not a fitness junkie. What is too much exercise in pregnancy?
I think if you're looking at something that is reasonable and healthy, you're looking at 2.5 hours per week, or not in one go. People should have exercise in moderation. So at least 30 minutes, 5 times a week for moderate intensity.
Moderate intensity. I think I feel like myself, I mean, like a fitness person, all the way, it really, really does come in handy because everything is in moderation. As I'd imagine, you're now carrying another life and it probably weighs in a bit hard on your body as well. Is there any way that fitness actually does tie in with our mental health?
I think fitness always ties in with mental health. In fact, it's so interesting that they say the 3 most important things, 3 most important treatments really of depression are medication, psychotherapy, and exercise. So I think exercise is always important for your mental health, for stress reduction, all those kinds of things.
It really, really is. And do you think you'll start exercising immediately? I know that you are a person who loves exercise, but did you feel like you had to wait in the beginning or did you just get right into it?
For me, because I exercised before the pregnancy, I could get right into it. But for moms that haven't been exercising, my number one recommendation, get a clearance from the doctor. And then if they say, thumbs up, you can exercise, then start slowly. I know a lot of ladies in the first trimester, they don't really like doing it. But I mean, you can take up, as doctor said, moderate exercise, light to moderate, such as yoga, such Pilates, to get into it. But then ideally start exercising before pregnancy and then continue with it.
It seems like everything starts even before it actually starts, the pregnancy journey starts, eh?
Yeah.
I would say that does exercising make the labor a bit easier, the doctor? Because I know towards the last 9 months, I was just like, give me a ball, give me anything to do. Does it help with making your labor easier?
It definitely does. We've got literature that will support exercise, improving the outcome of delivery for natural birth, even if you had a cesarean section. So if you're looking at endurance during exercise, you're building up your stamina, you're building up your strength. And that's what you would need at the end of the day during a vaginal delivery. Labor for one person, if they're lucky, hopefully for you, will go quickly. But for some people can go beyond 24 hours sometimes. And you need to be able to have that endurance, to be able to push, to be able to breathe properly. When you're exercising, you strengthen your core, your transversus abdominis, you strengthen the pelvic floor muscles. You cannot expect your muscles to do what it's not used to doing. So if you're strengthening and you are working on those muscles and exercising during pregnancy, when it comes to time of actually delivery, your body almost would know what to do. Your pain relief would be managed better in labor. You might even go through labor quicker and needing less intervention, for example, in terms of epidurals, pain relief, injections for pain medication. So I think in terms of placing an emphasis on exercise, all pregnant women, unless you have any contraindications from it, should do at least some form of exercise.
Some form of exercise. For me, it really must have been walking up and down the steps because I feel like that was enough. I'm joking, and really I could have done better. Next time I now know better, I'll do better. So Potso, what is actually your favorite exercise that you do currently whilst you're pregnant?
For me, I love doing squats, the number one throughout pregnancy, but also then focusing on my lower back. So there's an exercise called bird dog. We all fours and take out one leg and one arm at a time. That helps to strengthen the lower back. Obviously, everyone knows Kegels. But also on top of that, also doing bridges to help strengthen my glutes as well, because as Dr. said, I mean, when you get in there, the endurance, and if you're going in for natural birth as well, or vaginal birth, then you need that core strength. You need the glutes in, the hamstrings to be engaged so that you can push correctly. So those are my top 3 exercises that I would recommend even before pregnancy for any lady to do.
Well, that's actually really important, because I feel like it really does, as I said earlier, and starts way before we actually are fully pregnant, for us to actually start living a healthier and more fitter lifestyle, I'd say. For your convenience, moms and dads, we have flighted some pregnancy food charts with some healthy food options for you. Hop on over to our website and social pages for you to download your own copy. Well, now that we have spoken about the fact that what exercises to do, the importance of exercising during pregnancy, what is the mental element of actually tying it all in together? In as much as I can be at the gym every day, but where do I need to be mentally for me to actually even want to wake up in the morning to go exercise? Because I feel like it actually does start in terms of how we think about ourselves. Like, how do you view your own pregnancy at that point? Like, are you actually energized enough to want to get up in the morning? And how does one actually train your brain firstly before training your body?
Look, I think you bring up such a good point, because I think there are different sides to it. Firstly, we know that if someone is struggling, if they are overly stressed, if they are depressed, if they're overly anxious, often the first thing to go is an ability to enjoy or take part in things like exercise, going to gym. It's often the first thing to go. And I think that on the flip side, often we find that women who struggle with their body image, women who, for example, have eating disorders, or for whom a big part of their identity is their body, have other challenges during pregnancy, whereby as they start to put on normal amounts of weight, so now there are other issues that come up. And I think that for those women on the flip side, it's so important that they can get support and work through that as well. Because also we can find that even just putting on normal amounts of weight can be very upsetting and distressing for moms, and important that they get support in that regard as well.
I've never actually thought about it that way, because we think pregnancy and our main aim is to have a healthy baby, but if mom is unhealthy herself, or if she feels unhealthy herself, it's obviously a back step in enjoying her pregnancy journey in general. And when it comes to us eating food, I know that we all use pregnancy as a part of your life where let me just eat whatever it is that I want, give it to me, the baby wants it. But what food should we actually be avoiding during our pregnancy?
Let's start first with, you eat for 1, you exercise for 2. Because you don't really need that much more calories on top of what you're taking in with your daily foods. If you're looking at what not to eat, I definitely look at the preparation of your food. So anything that is raw, undercooked, not well done, you would rather stay away from that. There's a lot of bacteria in undercooked meats, deli meats, raw eggs, you would want to stay away from. So those would be amongst the foods that you would look at avoiding. Things like fish that has very high mercury content, very dangerous for developing pregnancy as well.
I must say, it was so odd that what you actually mentioned are foods that I don't particularly like. But when I was pregnant, did I not crave salmon? Out of all things, I just craved smoked salmon. I'm like, but you can't have smoked salmon. My sister, pop it in the microwave for a little bit, make sure it's but it's okay. So come back to you now. Please tell us the truth.
Yeah.
We know that you're all about health and fitness, but what is the one thing that right now you cannot live without in your pantry?
For me, it's chocolate. I'll be honest with everyone. I was telling the ladies earlier that this morning after breakfast, I wanted chocolate, and I had some in the pantry. I took it and I went into the garden and I enjoyed it. And I didn't feel guilty after that, because that's what I needed at that time. So for me, chocolate is number 1.
I feel like a lot of us go through the chocolate craving. Could it be the fact that chocolate releases, the terminology? Endorphins, yes. Could that be tied into it? Possibly. Can we use that as an excuse? Can we just run with that
Definitely.
one? Thank you so much.
No question.
And also, Doctor, wanted to actually ask you, what is healthy weight gain? And is there maybe an underlying issue if mom is not gaining enough weight in terms of her pregnancy?
Okay. So when you're looking at healthy weight gain, obviously you've got to start with the pregnant mummy herself, because we're all different. We start at different norms. In a patient who's underweight, I would advise seeing a nutritionist, because baby needs to get from mum. And if she's not taking in adequate amounts of nutrition and the correct types of foods, baby's going to have a problem in terms of development, developing poor growth, low birth weight babies, even going into prem labor and delivering premature babies. So healthy weight gain, I would say in a patient who's underweight, you're looking at about 15 to 18 kilograms of weight gain throughout the pregnancy, probably timed at, on average, for an average size healthy BMI, about 500 grams, taking you to about 12 to 15 kilos. And then what's important on the flip side of the coin is an overweight patient. You do not want to gain too much weight, and that could be limited anywhere from 5 to 9 kilos for the entire pregnancy. And you cannot tell a mom, starve yourself. She still needs to be taking in adequate nutrition. So again, get in a dietitian and nutritionist, because she needs to take in healthy forms of food for nutrition for the developing pregnancy.
And also take your vitamins whilst you still can. At
For
some
sure.
point, I actually stopped weighing myself. When doctor's like, do you want to hop on the scale? I'm like, do I look healthy to you? He's like, yes, you do. I'm like, perfect. Thank you very much. And let's get on to the other things that you actually need here to talk to me about. Well, there you have it, moms and dads. The do's and don'ts when it comes to exercising and food during pregnancy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be diving right into practical ways of looking after emotional health and more. Stay tuned. You've spoken and we have listened. That's why our gentle protective hugs have grown. The Huggies Extra Care range you know and love is now available in sizes 3, 4, and 5, with soft absorbent pillows and unique runny poo pockets for extra leakage protection. Huggies Extra Care is also clinically proven and hypoallergenic for newborn skin protection. Give your baby the best care they deserve with Huggies Extra Care. Huggies, your hugs inspire ours. We've enjoyed conversations around exercise, changes to be expected physically and emotionally, and of course, those pregnancy cravings. They are real, and believe me, Mama, they're very, very valid. So let's get right into it again. How do I manage my emotions during my pregnancy? And how do I actually look for signs of danger that maybe this isn't actually a normal emotion that I'm feeling? There's something deeper to it.
Again, I think to differentiate between kind of standard things that most moms kind of feel, and when what you're talking about, we're kind of edging into mental health problems. So I think that ways of managing just the normal anxiety, and it is so real, and it's not to kind of devalue. Actually, it is very hard for moms to have all kinds of anxieties and fears and concerns that are very, very normal during a pregnancy. And the things that I always think are so helpful are things like, as we said, exercise, meditation, relaxation exercises, all those kinds of things, talking with friends, having a good support system. All of that plays a really good role in supporting and helping moms with the kind of everyday normal angst, sadness, anxiety, all those kinds of things in a pregnancy. But where it's edged into more, and we spoke a little bit earlier about what that might look like, the signs of that, I think that then moms need to recognize that that's often not enough. And then they need to do things like seek out psychiatric help. And there's often such a stigma around this. I can't go and see a doctor.
Yes.
I definitely can't go and see a psychologist. There's such shame. And it's such a pity, because really you would be amazed how many moms in South Africa, it's 1 in 3 moms. In certain communities, 1 in 3 mothers suffer from some kind of mental health challenge.
That is so high.
Which is so high. And I think that there's really no stigma, there's no shame. In fact,
It shouldn't be.
It's so important for you and for your baby and for your family that you reach out and get that bit of extra support. And I think that looks very different for a mom who's now having a mental health challenge, and she's got to take it just that little bit more seriously. And we know that they can be treated. I think that's the most important thing.
It can be treated. That's the most important part. And having that support structure and actually being open enough to actually ask for help. So now I'm exercising and I'm trying my best to be mentally healthy, what exercises should I actually avoid in my pregnancy? Can I just do my sit-ups like I normally did every other day? Because I used to do like 50 a day back in my day, you know? So what exercises should I be avoiding during my pregnancy?
So once you reach, especially from second trimester, we advise that don't do any exercises that you have to lie on your back. For me personally, I don't, as when I'm training you, I don't recommend doing planks because then there is, the separation of the abs. So then you're more prone to get diastasis recti. So then for me, totally no core work. Well, you can still do core work, but not planks, not push-ups. We'll just modify exercises like that. Going spinning, for example. A lot of where once you get to a point, especially between the 7 to 9 months, then you feel that your pelvic area becomes very painful. Yeah, so exercises like that, high intensity exercises like that, jumping exercises. If you were not a runner, us ladies, we are very ambitious.
And pregnancy does that. You feel like you're a superwoman.
You want to be superwoman. You never ran before, and now you want to do a 5K. So have really realistic exercise goals. So don't start anything new in your pregnancy. Yeah.
Let's not start anything new. And doctor, I wanted to know, what is maybe some medical effects that could probably actually prohibit mom from exercising or doing certain types of exercises?
Okay, so that we would divide into patients who have a medical condition and those who have a problem in the pregnancy itself. If you're looking at a medical condition, it would be someone who has a cardiac problem. So in terms of valve prolapse on the cardiac valves or the heart valves, patients who have a tight valve, so mitral stenosis or aortic stenosis, that heart cannot have an increased output. So if you're exercising, your heart needs to pump faster and pump more blood. But in those cases, those patients cannot manage having that increased cardiac output. I would advise them not to do any exercise in pregnancy. Patients with asthma, if they are uncontrolled, you're going to put extra strain on the patient. Also, uncontrolled type 1 diabetes would be patients that you would think would not be able to exercise.
Yeah.
And then when you're looking at pregnancy complications, so anyone who's at risk of preterm labor or have had miscarriages in the early pregnancy, some patients have cervical incompetence where the pregnancy, the cervix doesn't hold the pregnancy and they've had previous miscarriages. Yes. You would advise them not to exercise in pregnancy. That's going to add extra strain. Any bleeding in pregnancy that's undiagnosed, especially later on, that hasn't been as a result of an internal examination or after sexual intercourse, those patients should be checked for any risk. Definitely multiple pregnancies, twins, you have double amount of baby, volume of amniotic fluid.
Yes.
Those patients are, babies or twin gestations are at risk of preterm labor.
That is so amazing. But I think it really does go back to what you said earlier on. Everything in moderation, and also clear it with your doctor first. Exactly. Because we like to believe that we are superwomen, and we really are superwomen to be able to carry life and bring life into this world is already a superpower on its own. Mamas, it is indeed true. Do your research, attend those antenatal classes, and if you can, of course, a great new resource with experts, the voices of real moms and real experiences to guide you through a healthy pregnancy. Keep your eyes and ears on Lights, Camera, Baby, where we put your growing family in the spotlights. So subscribe to our channel or follow Mama Magic SA on Instagram for even more. Thank you so much to Dr. Casandra Pillay. Thank you so much, Nicole Canin, for being here with us today. Thank you so much to a fitness and postnatal expert, to Potso Mpandawana. Did I say, please tell me I said it right? Pandawana. It's my Zulu tongue. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We really are thrilled to have you guys, and you've been a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so very much. Our Lights, Camera, Baby community is important to us, and we'd love to grow with you, which is why we have a limited edition hamper to give away. Firstly, subscribe to our channel, Mama Magic SA on YouTube. Tell us about your pregnancy experiences so far in just a few words on Mama Magic Instagram and our Facebook feed. Tag at least 2 of your friends, and you could be a winner of a sensational Huggies hamper. Yes, we love to give away gifts, and this is just the beginning.
Your hug tenderly cares for your baby. Our hug gently protects his delicate skin. Huggies Extra Care is our gentle, protective hug with soft pillows that absorb mess in seconds to protect newborn skin. An extra wide, stretchy waistband and unique runny poo pocket for better leakage protection. Huggies Extra Care, now available in sizes 3, 4, and 5.